Good morning everybody and welcome back to another video where today we are going to be taking you through the behind the scenes process of designing the new box art for Wave 4. Now this is something you will have already seen in use on the Arbiter's Ground customs and also Take Back the Sea, two custom sets that I highly recommend you check out. But today I haven't made those yet. I'm going to be doing the boxes for them today, and I thought I would bring you guys along for the ride once again because I don't really know what I'm doing. I've got some pieces that we're going to talk through on the screen, and at the end I'm going to show you another box experiment that I was supposed to film but then didn't, and trust me, that one you will definitely want to see. Anyway, so the rough plan I have for the Wave 4 box art is I want to do a Lego Marvel box on the screen. I want my character, in this case Link, and he's going to be on like a border on the right hand side of the box, and he's going to be big, and he's going to look mean, and so on. And he is going to sit on this green triangle here, and we chose this green because it is a Link-ish colour. I mean, not quite, but it is a shade that sort of complements him. And then this actually is a Link colour. This is what I'm going to use for my accent. So I'm thinking that we'll stretch it along the border here. Now, I think this style looks cool, and the idea is to have him be a big presence on his boxes rather than just focusing on the background like we have in other waves. So the Wave 1 to 3 boxes I would count as being like a Harry Potter, Indiana Jones, Lord of the Rings style box, where you've got like your swirly bits of malice and purple and stuff all over. And this one's going to be more like the current Lego Marvel, Lego DC boxes, where you have this big, ominous Batman just hanging over the edge, like whoa, 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 whoa. We've also still got the Nintendo logo to fit in, and of course the Lego Zelda logo as well. I've tinted the edge of this one with green, so hopefully we can use this to obscure his toesies. But we'll give it a go, see what I can come up with, and I will fill you in just a minute. So, I'm notoriously bad at not recording good segments here, but we sort of got something going on here. I think this might be it. I feel like I'm fairly happy with this. One thing I'm not too keen on is how visible his toes are, but then again, you can always move your Nintendo logo up a bit and then cut off the bottom here. So one thing that I initially thought was wrong is that coming to a point of a triangle like we saw before, if I could flick back here, was that it came straight to a point. However, I thought we needed the green to be present at least at the bottom. So I extended it out, I made it a bit more of a trapezium shape, and then I cropped Link down as well, and I put him on a slight angle so that he's sort of, he's coming towards you. I also had decided initially that I was going to bring him to the front and have him coming out the frame, but I thought he looked rather ungrounded, so I changed that. And we put him behind the bright green line just so he's a bit more hidden. And as you saw earlier, we've still got our Nintendo logo, which I think should always be in the bottom right because that's where the official one would go, normally at least. Chose to use Twilight Princess Link, just feel he's one of the more better looking Links I've drawn, and also are more iconic, so I think we're going to go for him for our Wave 2 style. But the next thing I want to do with this box is I want to try and put it on a set that I've already got, because I haven't quite finished designing the Arbiter's Grounds yet. So I think we're going to put it on the last one I did, which would have been the Winter Advent Calendar, and we will see how that looks, because I think that will be a fairly interesting combo, although the colour palette might not work. So I'm going to bring that image in, and we'll see if we can jiggle it around to make it work. And without much modification, I did have to scale some things up a bit, because obviously most of my boxes end up being a bit smaller than this, at least when I'm doing the front covers. We have the Hero of the Sea Advent Calendar, nice and big in the front here, and it looks great, personally, if you ask me. I really love how bold the green border is. I mean, it's going to be a real pain for trying to fit certain models on the front, because that's a very unique shape of a gap that the box has to use, because you can't use any of this space on the right, and obviously you've got your text on the left, so you've got this sort of triangle shape that you can fit your model in, and that's not always conducive to what are effectively really long models, or at least that's how the Arbiter's Grounds is looking at the moment. But no, it contrasts well with colours, the Nintendo logo works well, Link's feet aren't bothering me as much anymore, and with your Lego Zelda logo and the new formatting for the text on the left as well, this really brings it together. The last thing I want to potentially look at, not for this set, but when we get into the Arbiter's Grounds in just a minute, is I want to try and put a character box down here as well, just to sort of balance off the green and see what happens. But let's get the sides done and turn this box into a 3D one. And with that more green there for the sides, I really think this pulls it together, especially when we add that character box in a minute with the Arbiter's Grounds. Oh, this works, this works, this really, really works. Okay. You see, it's a bit of a disconnect, really, almost, isn't it? Because you have this idea of what you want your box art to look like, or at least I do, and then you actually turn it into the real-life one, and it's always so exciting to see, all the time, all the time. Love my big link being on the side there. Oh, this is exactly what I want. This is so cool. I really, really love this. Okay. So this is a tester concept. Tester concept has been proven successful. So let's go and try it on the Arbiter's Ground box now, because I've just about finished that custom, so I'll go work on that for a couple of hours. And then let's bring the image in and see if we can compose ourselves a wave 4 shot for the first time. Okay, so I actually had to change up the model a bit. Now, my initial hero shot that I was planning to use was the one where we started left to right and so on. But in the end, I had to sort of break it up and use a couple of different renders I'd done just to make it fit in this shape. Now, I talked about this being a problem, but this triangle shape that you can fit your model in is not conducive to long sets at all. You could not see any of the detail or any of the figures in the old Arbiter's Ground box art, which unfortunately I did delete. I should have kept it for you guys to see. But what I had to do was basically change the long model into a bit of a deeper model in order to get it all to fit, but I think it worked well. So we've just posed the figures, we've got our Stalkins and things. Green border hasn't changed and text hasn't changed, although this was a very, very tight fit. And what we've got is a fairly good model. Now, there was one change that I wanted to make, and I talked about it last time, was with the green border. So let's see what we think if I bring up the other one. So this is my same version, same exact design, just with the green border, and I really think that that green border does add quite a lot, to be honest. I'm sort of surprised. So we've got our green border one here, and what feels to be very empty our normal one here. And I think the difference really does show, and I think we're going to use the green one and we're going to put it in 3D. But first we'll do the sides, and then we'll hope that that green border looks really good on the box. Okay, and just popping in quickly to show you what I'm doing with the sides. So the sides on the top really haven't changed. We've got our large showcase character on the side. This was recently done with the Cosmic Cardboard Adventures set, where we've got that on the side along with some other bits as well. So plenty of sets do this little showcase piece on the side, which I really like, and I'm doing with my figures, just like the Marvel boxes again. And then along the top with the dungeon sets in particular, I like to put the different dungeon rooms to show you that you can rearrange them on there, and of course your one-to-one scale character. When it comes to doing Take Back the Sea, we're probably doing minifigures along the top, because I feel like it might be too many for a green bar. But this is a moment of truth. Let's see the first Wave 4 box all together. And here it is. Yeah, I think it's good. It always takes a minute with these boxes. I think I'm happy. This works. Maybe. Either way, the full compositions together, I was completely right about the green balancing. If a set had more minifigures, I don't think this would work. But then again, I've always been inconsistent with showing my figures along the bottom, so I'm not happy for that to just be something that keeps changing depending on the set. I still love the green border. It just maybe feels a bit busy, but at the same time, I think I'm okay with it. Yeah, no, I'm really, really pleased with this. I want to take a step back. I'm going to wait a bit, and we'll come back and we'll see if we're happy with it. But there's one more one I want to do today before I show you my secret box project, and that is, of course, Take Back the Sea. So let's get started with the box for that model. Unlike the Arbiter's Ground, I'm going to show you my first attempt at the front here. So I've got a brand new backdrop for Take Back the Sea that I just drew, and of course you've got all your model components. And this was my first attempt. This was the initial render I took for it, because I thought this would work quite well, where you have the buildings over here with the beach and being chased by the Boko, and then over here you have your ocean thing to the sea, and you've got Link coming out to fight them. However, I feel like there's a lot of wasted space. You've got a whole load of negative space up here, whole load of negative space down here, and you've got to bear in mind that when you view this box, it's gonna be maybe that far away. That's pretty small. Like, the majority of the box at this point is graphics and backgrounds and logos and things, not the actual set, which is always what we want to be the focus. And that was the change I made to Arbiter's Grounds, to bring it back to being the main focus. So I think we're going to have another go, and we'll see if this one can make it any bigger, any closer. But I'm going to have to chop up some renders, so I'll go do that now. And here's the new one, and not only have I changed the color coordination on the back of it just to be a bit more sunsetty, but I've definitely brought it more into the forefront. So these buildings are like 4 times the size they were originally. You still got all the details and it feels a little bit closer together. I certainly wasn't afraid to chop off part of the model behind the thing, because the front of the box is all about cinematography, whereas the back of the box is where you have to show the whole model so you know what you're getting. So I wasn't too worried about people missing stuff off here because it's really not that big. It comes and curves around just behind Link here, so I'm not too fussed about that. All your big details like the skull and the 3 different platforms and the moblin are still visible. You even got your watchtower here, who I was tempted to put in the back, but it just wasn't working. So no, I'm really happy with how like the composure works here. I definitely think this is a big improvement, and it's just nice to have the model bigger, because when I zoom out this time, if I zoom out then again, you can still clearly see it. It's still taking up about 50 to 60% of the entire screen, which is always what you want to see with these, because well, that's the most important part, is the model. So that's worked. So let's do the sides. I'm definitely going to leave this green border blank, but I'm going to leave the green border on here, and then we'll put the box in 3D, and then I will show you what I've been doing, and I suppose I'll give you a little teaser. It's in Blender. So here are our sides and our front. Yeah, I be really quick here. I chose to put the figures up here, so it's like he's defending them against the enemies, and it's small. I was going to put the buildings in here, but I was just like, and I chose Kina as my featured figure here. So simple front and sides. Let's put it all together. Here is our finished box. A bit wonky down the side there. Let's bring that up to the middle. There we go. So we've got our black edging on. We've got our nice big green border here, as well as our green around all the sides. Yeah, it looks a bit empty, but there's nothing I can do. 13 figures or so on here would look just way too crowded. So it wasn't really an option. Sides again, just contrast the green. It looks good, and I'm still pleased that the set is taking up the majority of the volume. It's definitely a recognizable and unique box, which is what I'm after all the time with these. Okay, so without further ado, it's time to talk about my little secret project. Now, I knew going into Wave 4 that I wanted to make an improvement, and it's about time that the boxes or the figures took a step up, and I've been admiring these 3D boxes from Blender for a long time. So I was like, let's put the boxes in Blender and get some realistic renders, and it's been a long learning curve, but we finally have something to show from it. So I'd say it's taken maybe 7 hours to get to this point. 7 hours, and it's not even that good as a result. And I thought, what would be more fitting to turn into this than, of course, the Fire Sanctuary. So, drumroll please, appearing on your screen now is my Blender render of the Fire Sanctuary box, and this person here has bought 2 of them, and yeah, I know the shadows aren't great, and I know the image quality is really low, and that's actually because the render for the Fire Sanctuary was only done at a medium setting on Studio, because it was my first one and I didn't know how high I could go or how patient I could be. So actually this render was really small, and this thing's being stretched and distorted all over the place. But you know what? I think it's worth it. I think it does look better. I will not be changing to this one though. I do like the colour of this. I'm going to keep experimenting, we're going to keep changing, and maybe it'll be a Wave 5 thing. But currently the work it takes to do that in Blender, and the preparation and the amount of dead files I now have sat on my computer for all my failed experiments, and how painful it is to control stuff occasionally, and also the lighting, I think I just prefer the slightly more cartoony, unrealistic look. Like, I know I said this before, but the boxes really, to me at least, suit the style of the figures, and they're really bright and vibrant, and they're block colours, and I think that's what sells them as my custom set aesthetic. So we won't be changing anytime soon, but I still thought it was a worthy experiment to see. So please let me know what you guys think of these Blender boxes down below, and if you guys want me to change them, I will try and put the effort in to change for Wave 5, but nothing for Wave 4. I wanna see this green box in its full beauty in action. But anyway, that's what I've been up to with my boxes recently. I thought you guys would like to see me construct this new one, and hopefully the new box has gone down well. When you guys have seen them in the other videos, I mean, I'm hoping there's no complaints, but not that I know yet. Either way, let me know what you thought of the Blender one, as well as the green Link background, and if you enjoyed this insight into a bit of behind the scenes. I'm looking forward to starting the rest of Wave 4 and actually getting a load more of these green boxes out there, so that I can stack them all up and see how many links, or giant links I should say, are on the side of the box. But either way, have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next video.